Hey guys, it's Lychee Planet again with W Kim, and we have a special guest this week. We have a relatively well-known player from Southern California. Say hi to everybody. It's Kit King.
Hey guys, I guess online I'm known as Kitori. I guess I'm well known as being an
I
asshole.
think
I guess.
you're second to John Borden in terms of Weiss Schwarz celebrities.
Oh my god.
How does that make you feel?
Oh, so amazed. I know. You know how I feel about that guy William. He's so great.
I absolutely do. Hashtag statistics, bro.
Here's
Yeah.
my anyway. Before we get sidetracked, we're doing a review for Madoka, Magica Rebellion, the movie, as you probably figured out if you're watching this or listening to this. And we figured we might just get straight into it. Because there's a bunch to talk about, and a few of the decks got better, a few of the decks stayed pretty much the same, but we'll give our thoughts at the end. How's that sound?
Yep.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right,
Starting off.
so we'll get started. The first card we've got is we actually have translations this time. It's Mami confronting Homura. So it's a 1/0 double R. It's a climax combo. It's one that we've seen printed a lot recently. This one's with a stock and soul, I believe. You've got to pay one, and then you get to check the top four cards, look for a magic character, put in your hand. So basically, it's one of these climax combo cantrips that yellows have been getting in the form of 1/0 5Ks a lot. What do you guys think?
It's solid. I mean, this combo is obviously going to be compared to the girlfriends, which is very similar. They have the same cost, they have the same climax, they're on the same body. This is just smaller, but gets it on attack from a limited pool of cards.
I think it's more like the Bakemono Lovers combo because the Lovers combo was like check top five and add a strange to hand, but like
Yeah, that's right.
this one can actually kill things instead of side attacking all day.
Yeah, but the difference is that one was with a +2 soul, which in
Yeah,
my opinion is a straight plus for it.
yeah, it's
Um,
like I Bakemono one's like better than this, I guess, in a way. But I guess
only
yeah,
only relative because Bakemono doesn't have the greatest level one game.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
But
I think the
anyway,
card is fine. If you're running yellow, like, this is probably going to be your go to level 1 combo if you run it.
I think there's plenty to do at level one for yellow already, making this not a necessity. But the climax is fine, and I think it's worth running.
Yeah.
yeah.
Can I just clarify? Are the Nagisa cards magic trait? I didn't actually check.
Yeah, they're magic cheese.
Okay, as long as they're magic trait, then that's fine. Yeah, the card seems fine to me. I figure play it if it's in yellow. Play it if you're playing mono yellow.
Yeah.
Yep. Alright.
So the next card we have is the double R Nagisa guided by the cycle. So it's a 3/2 heal. I don't think there's a way to advance summon it. So it's a level 3 play only. And you've got a 1 cost climax combo with what I believe is the bounce combo. Um, I'm not actually 100%.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, it
pretty
is the
sure it's that.
bounce.
Yeah.
It's the bounce. And it lets you choose one of your opponent's level 3 front rows. Uh, I don't actually see the word front row
It says
in
front
the
row in the
Japanese text.
translation,
It
but
does, but
Yeah.
I don't see it in the Japanese
Yeah.
text. So it's any level 3.
Yeah. Any level three or lower character, and then send it to
Yep.
memory.
So you get to pick any level 3 or lower. So the only level 3 back row cards at all would be stuff that your opponent's keeping in reserve, the level 3 Shiroi from Log Horizon, and the level 3 Tsukasa. Tsukasa, is that her name? The one from Monogatari, as well as the Kaga from Kantai, but no one plays that, so whatever.
Well, man, what about that little Buster's card that shuffles six back into your deck? You can
Um,
get
man, that sucks. My text stopped
that's in
working.
the back row sometimes.
Look, you gotta play for swag sometimes, so it's better to leave that card on the field, just always.
Alright, card translation suddenly broke. I apologize.
It's okay. So basically, what it does is you pay one, get rid of one of your opponent's level 3 or lowers. That's or lower, so you can get rid of an anti-heal or anti-salvage or whatever. Then your opponent can choose up to one level 0 character in their waiting room and put it in the slot that character was in.
Yes.
So it's basically straight up removal for back row. Or you can use it on front row to basically open up a slot. Uh, or hope your opponent's bad and give you a target to clock kick or something.
Yeah. I mean, I think in this case, opening up the slot if you're running yellow is probably okay. I mean, the
You're
only
playing a climax, remember, so it'll actually be at least 3 soul, which I'm
yeah.
not. I'm not hot on 3 soul
I mean,
swings.
you do still have lots of shot trigger options in yellow at the very least.
Like I just don't think this card is as good as the one from last booster, the Mami that's also comboing with a wind
One
trigger,
trigger.
I think.
I agree. I don't think this card is that great.
Mm.
The climax combo to me is like only worthwhile in like random scenarios where like you're playing against Log Horizon, you want to burn and stuff, right? The other thing too is like if you get rid of a front row and they do put a level zero out, uh, it lets you like play around event counters, like you know the money counter from Little Busters, because
Yeah,
you can side attack
that's
zeros. But
mm.
yeah, this is like pretty whatever.
That's a good point, but by the same token, I don't actually remember the exact combo, but doesn't the Mami combo from the first set also get rid of a front row character?
Let me find out.
Yeah, I have no idea either. I just
Oh,
pretend yellow
okay,
doesn't
so I
exist in the
think
old set.
yeah, that's fair enough. It's a 2 cost. When when it attacks, you can choose up to a level 1 or 3 or lower in your opponent's front row and put it in stock, and then they can't use on-call. Um, so it's still pretty bad, but I think it's now I think about it, this card is probably better because it's better in more situations, I guess. They're pretty similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's cheaper definitely to use this versus the first set Mami, and they both heal. So
They do. One thing I do like to note is anything that gives your opponents choice is, I think at this point in the lifespan of the game, an okay thing because people are not necessarily going to play properly and they're often going to just do things that are bad. So it's not necessarily a bad idea to play something like this.
yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I'm again not the biggest fan of this level 3, but it's not like the worst card ever printed. It's still better than like Blue Michelle from Terraformers.
Well, let's not talk about that card. We try to keep it to good cards on this podcasty thing.
All right, next card.
So general consensus on the level 3 is that it's playable, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it heals, it removes.
Like
It's okay.
I wouldn't be surprised to see it in someone's deck, but you know, it's like
Yeah,
whatever.
but by the same token, you wouldn't be too surprised to see the old level 3 Mami in the deck, and
Yeah. Well, at that point, they're like playing mono yellow, I would assume.
exactly,
So,
exactly. Um, yeah. So the next card is Mami Nagisa. It's a typical 1 cost drop hand searcher. Um, I never really figured this was something Madoka needed that badly.
I don't
oh
think it.
But
man,
I don't think it desperately needed it, but I mean like having additional outs are never a bad thing.
well, in a
oh
deck that runs 2 to 4 of a magical girl appears,
Yeah.
you don't really need the discard outs.
I don't know. I played so many games with Madoka. There are games where I'm like, I draw no apples, and there are games where like there are no 1/0 Saikas in my waiting room because they're the last 4 cards in my deck, and I just
Okay,
cry
fair
all
enough.
game. Like when they spoiled this card, I was super excited just because I was like able to search it out, you know. But
Gotta run
besides
more
that, it
brainstorms, man.
yeah.
But I mean, this does have the problem where it's competing with several other cards that were released in this set
Hmm.
that can function in similar roles, albeit like not so much hand fixing and more
Hand
plussing.
fixing is not a problem. We've got the Psycho and Mami from first set,
Yeah.
and a magical girl appears. Those do all the work, but
There's also a
I
spammable
guess
brainstormer now for search. So
I'm not super high on that card because I think you're better off using your stock to just plus, unless you're in an awful, awful position. But yeah, I can see the merits behind this card. I just don't think it's super necessary.
I mean, it's a solid 0/0 tech option. Like I don't. I think that the card is usable, very, very, very usable. There's
Yeah,
no
I
like
mean,
notable
it's
detriment.
a standard ability that like basically should be in almost every set anyway. It just happened to come out really late for this set. if this
Can you
was like
imagine?
released as a PR way earlier, it would have made like Madoka better. But now that it's released, it's like pretty whatever, just because of all the new stuff they got.
I'll be totally honest, I was expecting an Akatsuki clone in this slot, but I'm really not complaining that they didn't release another
It
Akatsuki
it
clone.
wasn't meant to be. Not for Magic.
Thank God. That card would be so stupid.
Next up,
Yep, so we've got another card, Mami Best Condition. It's a 1/0 shift counter. Theme deck in the end.
I think
Base.
this counter is hilarious. Just in general, I mean, it's very fun to have a counter that like can just go to your clock and you know you'll still have it if you need it.
I just want to quickly refresh everyone's minds on shift. Shift is not like you take the card from your clock and put anything back. You have to put a card of the corresponding color back. So you can't just toss this
Yeah,
into your
it's not a
not yellow
splashable
deck.
card.
Yeah, like it's still yellow only, and yellow does have the option to go really big at level 1, assuming you cancel, which makes this card okay, but I still wouldn't run more than one or two.
I think this card's like pretty alright. If it matters, it's 500 less power than the other vanilla ones because it has a second ability, which is shift.
It's a
Um,
costless
It
card. It's actually on. It's on
no, I mean
cost.
it's actual
no, he
power,
means he
Oh,
means
oh,
power.
character
sorry.
power.
Yeah,
Yes, its
yeah,
Yeah,
actual
yeah,
power is 500 less.
yeah. Which
Whoopsies.
is
that's a
like almost irrelevant because it's a counter anyway,
Yeah.
and it's
that's a
costless.
huge edge case, but yeah, you've got a point there.
Yeah. But the one thing I like about it is that because it has shift, you can kind of like mind game your opponent by getting it to your hand, and like now they have to play around a counter that they know you have, which is kind of annoying sometimes.
Oh,
But
I love
or
that. Yeah,
but like overall, this card's like what like I don't want to say whatever, but it's it's a counter that's good.
I mean, yeah,
yeah,
it's a super solid playable counter. I mean, it's going to be more reliable in the sense that it's easier to get to hand than like 102K counters, but it's not going to be as big as 102K counters.
I
Yeah, I'm
sense that
actually
neither
more
of you are
surprised.
making mono yellow.
Yeah, I have no plans to make mono yellow, but I'm actually more surprised that this isn't like in green in a Homer card. I was like, when I saw shift on like Mommy, I was like, all right. I felt like they pushed really hard on shift for green in the last set.
I
They're
just
really pushing hard on green in shifting green in this set as well. That
Yeah,
support is actually pretty cool, but we'll get to that later.
I just love the number of symbols on this card though. It's very silly.
gotta get that Shin-Chan rock paper scissors thing in there too.
Exactly. All right, moving on, I guess.
Okay, so the next card, Mommy, the way she wished things are, is a 1/0. Oh,
It's
it's effectively a
literally
6K clock encore.
it's literally the Onodera from Nisekoi, the Shinon from
Yes.
SAO2. It's a good card.
I think it's solid. I've never been a huge fan of crutching on clock encore, but the option is always really good on a plus size.
Yeah.
Yeah, personally, I love Clock Encore just because I can manipulate the clock a lot. Like
Yeah, fair enough.
I hate getting stuck at a really awkward situation where I'm like, I wish I was level 2, but no, I'm stuck here at 1.5, and if I clock, I'm only at 1.6. But and then like it's overstated for like costless character, so it's still a really good card. Nothing
Yeah,
to really
like
complain
it's
about.
really good. Again, mono yellow.
Yeah.
I think this card can go into a cross color deck, obviously, but
I
I
think
don't think this is better than apples at all.
I don't think it's better than apples, and I think other colors have more to offer at level one in terms of costless level one
Uh,
cards.
well, we'll get to a card in a sec that might change your mind. It won't change my mind, but yeah, it's not bad. Like it's another option to go heavier on yellow and maybe get some use out of uh what even is there in yellow? Grief Seed?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. A lot of people like going crazy about that card again, and I'm still like it's pretty mediocre to me, but
I've never
whatever.
been big on power counters. For those who don't know, Grief Seed is a 2/1 high power counter from the first set. It was one of the big draws to yellow in that set. I personally never really cared.
I mean, I feel like you don't really need it at that point.
Well,
Like,
yellow was all about power. Like,
yeah,
the longer they kept their stuff on the field, the better. And they had like 117Ks, which were really good targets for the Grief Seed.
yeah, it's just like 117Ks are just not big enough to wall out most decks anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. Um, okay, so now that we've decided that's a perfectly playable card, shall we move on?
Yep.
So Nagisa, one who knows the truth. Another plus size costless.
Yep.
It's a 106k. It's actually going to be a 6.5k with Encore most of the time, but we'll get to why that is in a bit. Uh, Basically, you'll always have a Mami on the field in the mono yellow deck that runs this, so it's gonna be a 6k at the very least.
Hmm. I think it's fine in terms of the combo. I still don't prefer it to the apples combo, but that's like
Obviously not, because Apples is just so much bigger.
exactly. It's a full 1K bigger usually.
Exactly. You do need the Bonder, sure, but when you have a ceiling that much higher, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, it was another. This is again another card. Just like, are you playing mommy? Then you're probably playing this card.
Yeah.
Yep,
That's it.
Like
sounds about right.
so far, just looking through yellow, it's like all of the cards work fine in the context of a mono yellow deck, but I just don't see them being worth splashing into other colors for.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
everyone's probably noticed that they're really pushing the whole two character decks, Mami Nagisa, Homura, Madoka, and then they're kind of pushing Saika Kyoko, although both characters can be in their own decks now.
Yeah. Well,
Except as a competitive player, that's not what I do. I don't let the company push me around. I build the best deck I can.
well, looking at the next card, I guess.
Oh boy, it's not Musashi. It's
Yes, please.
Happy Now, Mami. Well, Madoka players are not happy now. It's not a Musashi. It's similarly big for each of your other magic characters. It gets 500, so it's probably going to be 12k. It's fine. And when it comes down, if the opponent cancels damage dealt by this, they take one.
Yep. So you have the shot trigger effect. I mean, it's one of the weaker finisher options, but it's
Oh
still
god.
a finisher option that's available to yellow at least.
As somebody who played all throughout the rewrite times, hearing this described as a weak finish option is a little it's a little depressing.
I mean, yeah, but the problem is you now compete with Musashi effects, bigger
Musashi
clock
effects
kicks, and
they're often just going to be a ping one.
Yeah. Well, like, to be fair though, with talking about rewrite, the level 3 Chihaya and rewrite, it had the second ability of giving a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah,
soul
of
randomly,
course.
which is like
Of
super
course.
godlike.
It was really, really good, yeah.
I mean,
The
Yeah.
numbers worked out perfectly in that deck.
the
But
Musashi effect is at its worst a shot trigger, and you mill the climax. That's like the worst that can happen.
actually I think the worst that can happen is you mill a level 3 and then they cancel on the 4th. But
I guess that's fair too, but I mean, like
yeah.
at the same vein, you could hit a level like best case you hit a level 3 and it kills them.
Yeah, but I'm not a gambling man, so I always thought that hitting level 1 is optimal for Musashi. Hitting level 0 is fine as well. So this card in my books is perfectly fine. You might even consider playing it as one of your primary finishers if you are on a budget or something.
Yeah, and if you happen to be splashing yellow for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's not bad.
the only reason why I can imagine you splashing yellow at this point is if you really wanted to run the double R mommy.
Yeah, from a
Yeah.
competitive standpoint,
Yeah.
definitely.
This card isn't too bad too, as like having a change just because it's like 12k base kinda, because it gets 500 for every other magic character.
That's pretty much my perspective on early summons and changes. If it's something that can just last for a turn and then start hitting people, it's good. It's your investment's worth, as opposed to like the little busters encore phase changes or other changes that are just 10k when they come down, then they just die. Like that's not good.
Yeah.
Alright, so consensus, this card is good and playable, but probably still for the yellow deck only.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, the Bonder.
Mami, Daily Life Dreamt Of. This is the bond to the 4-5. Sorry, the 4-5, actually 6.5k Nagisa. And it's 6.5k because this ability here says all of your other Nagisa, one who knows the truth, gain 500 power and encore. And importantly, that stacks. So if you have two of this, then that's actually a 7k
With pen encore twice.
double encore. So, it's not apples.
it's just like, yes, hand encore is cool. I'd rather have 7/5 bodies.
Let's see, but hand-on core is something you put on cards that don't have bonds already.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, bonds are already kind of a plussing system, anyways. You don't
Exactly.
really need to
Yeah,
keep those cards around because you basically just paid one or clocked yourself once to get something onto the field. So, yeah,
that's my perspective, and I'm sticking to it.
I like apples better, like personally.
Oh, this card is
Uh,
fine in a mono yellow again.
yeah, I like apples better too, but at the same time, this is like not horrible just because not only is it a bonder, it is also a support. So I
Hmm.
guess you get something out of it, but still, pretty whatever, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, for the record, for people who don't actually know Madoka, when we say apples, we're referring to a card called Kyoko Sharing an Apple. It's a 0/0 bonder to a 1/0 vanilla Psyker, so 5.5k blue. And the bonder itself gives the Psyker 1000. So if you have one of them, the Psyker is actually 6500. Just getting that out there.
yeah. It's a very solid costless combo to get like fairly decently sized beaters onto the field for
Pretty
free.
much, yeah. You can manipulate how big you want them to be depending on the matchup, which is really solid in my opinion.
Yeah, the only problem for the combo in the current meta is that like generally you want your walls to be 9k to be above approach,
Well,
and
that's fair, I guess, but
it
unless you're
just
playing against Idolmaster or Milky,
or
you can.
girlfriends.
Or,
It's
I'm mostly talking about cards that have plus level
oh
supports
yes, that's
at
fair
level
too.
0. Like, you can usually side over them with the Apples bonds, and then a lot of decks don't actually hit 9k full field on offense, except like Girlfriend, I guess, and Terraformers if you're playing the green level one. So I think Apples is still very serviceable.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, apples is still pretty good. I mean, I think towards the end of like Madoka's lifespan, I kind of just like jam Soul +2 in there to decide against things I can't kill anyway.
Pretty much, yeah. That's why
But yeah,
I always played global. I would always play Global Soul instead of 2K1 Soul in Madoka, despite
yeah,
me liking 2K1 Soul more than most people.
Yeah,
All right, so perfectly serviceable in a mono yellow deck. Otherwise, I think all of us like apples better.
yeah,
yep,
Yeah. So next card, Mami Lively Evening. This card is I thought it was interesting because it had some cute little synergies here and there, but it's generally not the greatest thing to have in your back row. So it's an assist 500, and you can tap it to give any character on the field, including your opponents, one level.
yeah,
So yeah, the
pretty
only
whatever. It like does that one. It combos with like one card in the set, right?
yeah, it's like there's a 2/1
Yeah,
which lets you plus if you kill level 2 or higher, but you get to kill level
yeah,
1 if with this. Otherwise, they've really moved away from the you have to kill level 2 or higher in recent sets on good cards. So
yeah. I don't think there's any good card printed that requires you to reverse to level 2 or higher in the last couple of
sadly,
sets.
yeah, it was a pretty big thing a few years ago, but now it's just kind of faded away.
yeah. The thing about this too is like you want the +1 level to beat out like level reversers, but usually they won't be there because they've already reversed you the other turn.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty
So
much
like this, yeah,
the only set that ever runs out the level reverses early is like Fairy Tail, and it's not exactly got the biggest presence anywhere.
yeah. And I think the only other reason you would really run this, besides like that cute interaction earlier, is that maybe you want to set up precise soul siding. But other than that, this card's like I don't
it
Mm,
think
just
you'd
comes down
ever
to
really see
it's
it.
still taking up a back row slot, which is a limited resource. So it's
I
Yeah,
can see this being a one-off tech for the reason that Kitori stated, but at the same time, that's a
yeah,
really edge case.
yeah, very.
Like, why don't you just run more clock kicks, then you get an extra attack instead? That sort of thing. Okay, so Mami Hill in the Morning Sun. This is the first level 0 straight up anti-runner that isn't a bomb.
yep.
I think this card is interesting to discuss because do you think that this card will make it into the quote-unquote meta Madoka decks?
I don't think you need it.
Yeah, I don't really care for this card at all. Like
Mm,
I can see it in like mono character decks maybe, or like other yellow decks that want to splash more yellow into it, so they can run the 106K with clock on core or whatever.
yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, for the most part, like anti-run cards don't really do enough, at least for me. It's kind
Uh,
of funny though when people play in front of the slot during their turn and then realize that
yeah,
like they
and
can't
then you
move.
don't let
It's
him take it back. It's funny.
yeah, that's pretty funny. But besides that, I'm like pretty whatever about this card.
I
My
just
stance
think
on,
you don't
yep.
need it. I mean, with the new level 0 options, I mean, seeing as you're probably not splashing yellow into your meta deck, you don't need this yellow color fixing option, and it doesn't really provide much else besides that. You don't really need an anti-runner anymore.
I think the anti-runner cards are only good in decks that actually have the game plan of depriving your opponent of cards, which would only be little busters. So, and I guess some nano hard decks. But other than that, anti-runner cards are eh.
Yeah, I mean, the only time I ever see cards like this being really good is if your game plan is to win early because your late game sucks. But
Yeah,
Madoka doesn't have that problem already. They already have like they have cards that are like 3,500 if you have like two or more on the field, right? And then other ones where are just get really big for having at least two or less. So you can have
yeah.
like a full front row of like beaters if need be, and
We've
you're
actually
fine.
got a 3/5 +1 level promo as well, which I think is just pretty solid.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that card too. Whenever we get to it.
I think it's a promo, so we might actually be skipping over it anyway.
sad days.
Um, it does have the edge case of revealing not a climax and leveling you, not a character, sorry, and then leveling you up. That's clutched me out in, I think, like 3 situations over my Weiss career. So there's that.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I wouldn't put it in for that purpose, though.
I think the only deck you should reasonably consider running this in is a mono yellow deck, and
Yeah,
even then, it's not even like that significant that you absolutely need this in that
yeah,
deck.
pretty much.
All right.
Okay, next card. Mami Graceful Strike. It's got the stats of a 1/1 vanilla, but it also has the this cannot be reversed by bombs, and when this is placed from hand to stage, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a climax, it taps. So you might not get to attack with it if you run it over the already existing 1/1 Mami vanilla.
Yeah. Whoa, man, synergy with the last card.
You've got a point there. You definitely have a point there. Well, there you go. You've got a mini combo right there. Get on it. Get on it, all of you Mami fans out there.
I think
Um,
any card with the effect can't be reversed needs to be large to justify having that effect. Because at
7K is not small.
7K is not small. And if you're running a yellow deck, you're probably running the 1500 counter that you can
Yeah.
shift, which puts you reasonably at 9K, assuming you have some back row that isn't the 0/0 Mami for the Nagisa.
But will you have that? I'm not sure you will.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, right? It's like, what level 1 game would you rather have? The costless one or the, like, okay wall one?
I like the costless one that turns into 2/2 really fat. That's what the old Mami deck ran.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is probably better than the 1/1 vanilla, but
Yeah,
eh.
it's like marginally better than vanilla, and that's it. I
Yeah.
think I guess.
Like I like top check effects, but mostly on costless characters
Yeah.
because paying one just to top check, it can be clutch sometimes, but it can also just be a waste of stock.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, especially if you're losing out on an attack. So next card is Tea Party of the Magical Girls, Mami. Global 1k support and 1 cost sack it draw phase change to the 12k burn Mami, if I recall
Yep.
correctly.
Yes. It changes that shot trigger.
All right, let me sum up this conversation. Yellow deck only slash mommy deck only. All right, next card, guys.
Yeah,
Can,
that's fair.
can I slot in something here just very quickly?
Yeah.
Level 2 draw phase changes are really awkward if you don't have a refresher or an Akatsuki clone or a lot of stock plus brainstorms. Um, I've seen this a lot in Yukiko deck, I've seen it a lot in the old Madoka deck. It's just really awkward.
Yeah. Also, a long time ago, I used to like draw step change a lot because it usually costs a little less stock to change and stuff.
Super
But
cheap.
lately, I kind of like climax phase change nowadays because you get that instant advantage.
Gratification.
Yeah, basically.
I am not a fan of climax phase changes depending on the deck. Because most of the decks that do have climax phase changes, I'm pretty air on, but I can respect anyone's opinion on it.
Yeah. Well, then again, I think Bushiroad's like slowly edging that stuff out, and they're having
Yeah,
like these level threes that come out if your whole field is the same character or whatever.
Oh,
Lately,
yeah.
it's like getting
Advanced
the
yeah.
summons
next
have
ones.
superseded changes mostly. So yeah. Anyway, yellow deck only, as you said.
Yeah. Next.
Nagisa, seeing through the target, yellow deck only. Shall we go to the next one?
Next.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
All
This
right,
is
should we just go to the next color? No.
uh,
We're
no,
almost done.
like I really would do that if we could, but we've got people listening. So this is a 2/1. It's a card that when it comes to the stage goes to 9k, so that's a pretty common trope throughout the last few years.
Yeah.
And then one cost, when you kill level 2 or higher, this is the card we alluded to earlier, you get to search for a magic character after killing a level 2 or higher battle opponent and add it to hand. So it's just a one cost plus. Um, that also is a body.
Body only on the offense on the first turn.
Like, I've had a little bit of experience with this particular type of card in Bakemono. There's an Adeko that does a similar thing, and that card is, it's fine, but, really, I only put it in there because there wasn't a better option.
Yeah, this card is like only okay because that support exists. If you're running this card, you're obviously running that support because for the
Yep.
most part, people usually skip over level twos.
Yeah,
Unless
like,
the level 2 is really, really
Yeah,
good.
unless
But
the level two is like really good, it's usually everyone's just like has changers or like early play level threes or
pretty
like
much.
level two supports, and that's
yeah.
it.
And
Like,
then
those,
events that fit in level 2 as well.
it's really not odd to see just 4 or 5 cards at the most in any meta deck in any competition at level
Yeah.
2. Yeah, and this card doesn't even get that big, so you can't really mise value off it by killing level 3s very often.
Exactly. At 9k, you're basically never going to get over level 3, even with proper back row support.
And after it's come down and it's no longer 9k, forget about it.
Yeah. It's just never going to be big enough to reasonably reverse things.
Oh, well, in fairness, the next card is somewhat helpful. Somewhat.
Somewhat.
Yep, so we've got Priola Magi, I don't know how to pronounce that, Holy Quintet Malmi. When this attacks, you get to tap one of your characters, and if you do, you choose a character, another one of your characters, and it gets 2k. So this is a trope that we've seen in the form of, I think the earliest one was actually in Disgaea, which was like an Axel, you tap 2 demons and someone gets 2k, and then we saw it again with Miku, Holy Goddess or whatever. They've generally been pretty favorable for me. I like these supports because a large burst of power is usually better than like a medium amount on both turns to me.
It depends on what you're looking for. If the goal is just to kill something, then obviously the large burst is better. If you're trying to wall, then you obviously want on the opponent's turn, but, sometimes having both isn't like a terrible thing.
Well, if
My
your goal, yep,
my
go.
only problem with this card is most decks are probably going to use the old Homer Brainstormer, right? And that requires tap two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
So
much.
this makes having this card with that Brainstormer makes it very awkward. Your turn's awkward sometimes because sometimes you need the power, but you really need to brainstorm too, and so you have to
Mm.
like give up one or the other.
Oh, I would definitely brainstorm in
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
situation. Like, 10 out of 10 times.
And ultimately, the only time in particular that I've seen in so far here where this 2k power is like relevant is still with that 2-1, which is mediocre at best. So it's just
I think
not.
you're being pretty generous there.
I am being generous. I mean, you do have options, but the sad part is that option to like give things level is also like you have to tap it to do that effect. So it's like already kind of funny issues going on there. It's not necessary. This card is just fully unnecessary for I think any build.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Um, I just don't think Madoka is the sort of deck that needs 2k buffs.
Yeah, which is ironic when you get to the climax reveal.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go on. So the next card is a level 0, Mami. She's pretty. Um, it's the oversize of choice for yellow decks.
Yeah,
Um,
that's it.
That's it.
I
Yeah.
I really don't care about level zero games in the majority of my decks, so I just have mostly disdain for this card.
I mean, when you're looking
Yeah.
at like solo plays and cards like that, the point of them is to be color fixers. Otherwise, your level zero game is basically all tech cards.
I quite like
Yeah.
that this card is it's a shift, so that's a slight chance to get out of being screwed of no level zeros. You can run a lower level zero count because of it. But again, mono yellow, so
Yeah. I mean, it does give you like an opportunity to like at level zero, if you have a bunch of cards that you want to keep and this is also in your hand, you could always just clock this because you'll get it
yeah,
back.
exactly. You could get it back. That's the benefit of shift in general, though.
So
Yep.
Anyway, next card.
vanilla.
Yeah, vanilla. It's BB, mommy's friend. No one would ever run that because, like, why would you run that?
Why would you run a vanilla?
Like, I legitimately can't think of a
wait.
reason
Wait,
at
wait.
all.
Does it have Psych in the name?
No.
Nope. Okay, then
no.
never mind. Let's go on.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, why would you run a vanilla?
Is
Is it Sayaka?
is it your shtick? Just ask if a card is Psyker, if not, move on.
Yeah,
Oh
basically.
man, wish is still a thing, man.
Dude,
Psycho's wish.
Oh man, I read some stuff on the internet earlier saying that blue was just bad, and it's like
Apparently,
these guys have never played against Psyker's
yeah.
Wish.
Apparently, everyone's forgotten Sayaka's wish is a good card. Anyways,
Anyway,
after
one
that,
zero
Cube.
1-0 vanilla. It's another one without Psyche in the name. It's for your QB theme decks.
Yes, which is, I guess,
Your
an
f-
adorable theme
your
deck if you want evil.
four color QB theme deck.
Yes. Gotta,
Man, it's playable in standard alien deck. It has alien traits.
This is true. Hey,
No, it
Nagata
isn't.
needs help.
It is not.
Gotta
It's
get,
yellow.
yeah,
It'll be fine.
totally
No.
fits into that blue deck.
It is yellow. Anyway, Nagisa, innocent girl. She's a 1/1 2k support. All of your other characters gain 1k on your turn, and it's got that little clause whenever you trigger a climax, get 2k. So this is the burst power we talked about Madoka not needing, and
Yeah.
it costs stock.
It's not a. I don't think it's a good card. I don't think you need it. I don't think you really need any of these effects, to be honest, in Madoka, and I definitely wouldn't pay for it.
Yeah, I clicked to the next card already. Just I don't really need to
Yeah,
talk
just
about that.
really quick on it. Like, I like these effects that are like when you trigger check a climax, do X effect. I like that stuff a lot. But yeah, this card still sucks.
I like it when it comes
Pays.
with something else good.
If it can pay out something to do something, or if it just like pluses somehow, I love it. If it doesn't, it's whatever.
I like it in Railgun where it's just ridiculous synergy with Misakuro and it's on good cards, but here it's just whatever.
I mean, I'm a fan of
Yeah.
the Sengoku Basara one, where you just basically turn every climax into a gold bag, but
Yeah, well, that's fair as well. Okay, so the next card is Nagisa, magical girl who looks young, yet another power buffer. This one's better than the other ones mentioned so far, but that's not really saying a great deal.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the problem is it's still on a 2-1, and not only is it on 2-1, it's like a really low power 2-1 too. It's like, you
I
also
forget.
don't need the
I'm-
power.
I'm not sure, but are there other sets that have the same exact effect except like they only give 2,000 power at level 2?
I'm sure.
I think I've seen that
Maybe.
before as a level
I
2.
don't think I've seen it.
I might be like
They might
completely
have more
wrong.
power on the base end though.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
like
that's like I think whenever I did see it, it was on a 7.5, but
I
it's
think I've
pretty
seen the
irrelevant.
8k that gives 1/5 to something.
Yeah,
I don't remember where. I've gone through a lot of cards these past few months.
yeah,
But regardless, these effects are mediocre at best, even if you have something that desperately needs to reverse your opponent. Like,
Yeah.
you usually have a way to get over. That's what you build the deck for.
Next card.
Mami and Madoka, Senpai and Kohai. This is actually not a yellow deck only card. You might disagree, but I think that any command bounce effect is somewhat considerable.
the effect is relevant, but I think the fact that it's in yellow like makes it harder to play already in
Pretty
Madoka.
much. Like, I just think
And
yellow's great.
This card like just straight up dies next turn. It gets like the like sad part about yellow
No,
is like
no,
a lot
no,
of the
Grief
what?
Seed? Grief Seed?
Oh yeah, my bad. Sorry, Grief Seed. I forgot. We all
I
run
mean-
the 4 of Grief Seed.
I mean, as far as the card is concerned, it does come with a shot trigger, which is like when I read the first, like, okay, wind trigger. It's like, oh wait, I remember the wind trigger is with like a and level 3. So
Yeah, these two should be swapped in my opinion.
yeah, they should
They
be.
really should.
So it comes with shot trigger, which I guess like turns into like a damaging trigger.
So half-assed though. Like,
And
if you go all in for the command blow, you don't even get the bounce
yeah,
climax.
exactly.
Like at least with like little busters, if you do that, you get the bounce climax.
I'm a really big fan, honestly, of the Nisekoi version of this, which is
Oh yeah.
I would pay 1 to bounce 2. Like
That card can wreck games if you are investing into the deck building side of it. Absolutely.
yeah,
Anyway, what Kitori said is actually true. This card is not going to live. Doesn't matter how many grief seeds you have. This is the first thing that's going to get clock kicked, especially if you climax the turn before.
I mean, with Grief Seed in the full field, it goes up to 14-5.
Oh.
Still killable. All right.
Yeah, I'm not compelled to run this card, even though the command bounce is quite nice.
Yeah, I agree. Next.
Okay, next card. 2/2. Oh god, it's a 2 cost.
Yep, and its effect is pretty bad as
I
well.
thought it was 1 cost. It's 2
Well,
costs.
on the bright side, at least it doesn't send your opponent's characters to stock on both turns, like Lightning Flash Asuna.
Oh, that card is such a. Oh god. I
Obviously,
thought we said good cards only, guys.
Oh, sorry.
this
Yeah,
card
shots
is just not good.
2 soul is fine, but Mami has a lot of better 2 soul cards.
Never-
And
Not good.
yeah, let's move on.
This event is hilarious.
The 3/5 one, right?
Yep.
I think it's perfectly reasonable to expect to play this, especially if you run the stock boost climax and the costless level 1 otherwise.
You do have to basically make sure that you don't somehow accidentally screw yourself by not having enough mommies and Nagisas on the field because you've accidentally run too many Madokas and Homeras. Because you literally need 5 Nagisa and mommies on the field to make
That's
this effect
the point.
at all activate. So, like, if you forgot to remove your brainstorm, you played the event too early, it's like, I'm sorry, bro, you missed.
Yeah, pretty much. My main issue with this sort of card, the level 3 extremely expensive costed events, is that you need to run 3 or more if you plan to do it more than once, and this effect isn't strong enough that you win the game just from one
Yeah.
activation of it.
I mean, it gives 3k power, you get shot trigger on every character, but if you really wanted that kind of effect, you might as well have just played like Idolmaster or Ilya and got the on attack
Yeah.
instead.
Like at this point, why am I running this 3/5 events and not running, I don't know, any number of competent finishers in its place?
Yeah.
Because you can play 2 of the Musashi Mami and still have 1 stock with this same stock. Like, hand is
Musashi
usually
Mami.
not an issue. Yeah, they're not Musashi Mami, my bad.
Wishes she was Musashi Mami.
These decks all... The sets are all melding together in my mind, sorry guys.
Everything is blending together.
Yeah, everything is just the same lately. Anyway,
Yeah.
this card is fine. Like, you play it in a mono yellow deck because it's a reasonable way to laugh at your opponents and not make them hate you too much because it's a pretty cool card to.
I mean, what it does let you do is it lets you like get extra mileage out of your costless cards.
That's true.
But that's like,
You probably want to play Climax with that as well.
yeah. I mean, was there a good +2 soul combo in set 1 for yellow?
I wish I could answer that question. I'm gonna have a
Me
quick look.
too.
No, there's no +2 soul there.
Not in yellow?
Not in yellow.
Oh, that's tragic.
Yeah. There's not a +2 soul in yellow this set either. If there was a +2 soul, I'd be a lot more inclined to run this, honestly.
Yeah, maybe in that case it'd be like pretty decent, but still, it's like
whoa.
whatever.
Wait,
What you could do is you could play the new Nagisa, you could play the Climax, wipe their entire field, and then you'd be swinging for 4/4/4.
wait. I think I just noticed something. This is... Oh, no, sorry. Okay, the wording is different. I thought I saw the same climax in the first set reused.
Oh, really?
Almost.
Yeah, you're thinking trio finale and
Yeah,
trio
trio
duet
duet.
or whatever,
Yeah.
or like.
I got like
whatever.
really confused for a second.
Sure,
Yeah,
why not?
Why not?
Hey, I'll have you know I ran 8 railguns in my first ever serious Weiss deck because I didn't know
Nice.
about the 4 full total rule. It was a very consistent deck.
I would imagine.
Man, how does he
Um,
always have railgun?
As far as yellow is concerned, I mean, most of the yellow cards are basically just put it into one deck, pick your favorite Nagisa and Mami cards, and you have a functioning deck, quote unquote. I mean, it's not going to be the most competitive deck ever.
I think it's relatively competent as far as forced thematic decks go.
Yeah,
It's
I,
got a
Yeah,
plus combo, it's got a good costless game, it's got some decent support from the first set, including a unbeatable 4K level 2 counter, and it's got finishes.
yeah, it does
yeah.
have a finisher, which is nice, and it has
It
another option with the event.
well, like yeah, if you can build enough stock, which is like what 11 stock, you can have like a decent in game. If you have like three of the burn mommies and this is like, all
Or
right.
the other solution is just to play two of this and a bunch of costless cards.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Basically,
All right, 10 stock and a bunch of 1 zeros. All right,
hey man, that's legit.
that is. Now I wish I did
S-
have the Soul Plus 2.
basically everyone who buys 6 or more boxes of this set is gonna have the mono yellow deck because otherwise they're just gonna have those cards sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah, I just don't see a reason to splash yellow in any deck. I mean, the double rare mommy is good, but I don't know if it's worth running just the yellow splash.
I don't know. When you can have 12 clock tickers in your deck, I don't think you're gonna run that yellow card.
Yeah, I actually got I said everything I want to say about yellow, and I'm actually opening mail because I don't have anything else to say anymore. It's
Wonderful.
just
Then we're gonna move on to the first green double rare, which is speaking of clock kickers.
oh boy, this card is great. Sorry, I actually am opening my mail.
Wonderful. So come and play draw two, ditch one. Whether
Yep.
it's from hand to stage, which is important because there's an event that plays it from hand, or a change. There is a changer to this as well.
Yep.
When it's played from hand to stage, this would include, by the way, using the event, you would have to rest the magic character,
hmm
and then its climax combo to gain 2k and clock kick, which is, again, solid. Good card.
Yeah, this is I predicted this as the most expensive card in the set, and I think I was right.
Yeah, I think this is going for 15 right now.
Yeah, fair
Isn't
enough.
isn't the Kyoko also going for 15 for
No,
some reason?
Kyoko's going for like
Is it?
6.
Wait, are you
Kyoko's
sure? I
great.
thought I just looked at it and it would like price went up and it's sold
It might
out.
have spiked. I mean,
Oh,
both
Yute is weird like
both
that.
Kyokos were sold out, and it was like at 8 and 7 when I last checked.
Yeah.
It
Oh
was
yeah, yeah.
the
It's $10 right
Kyoko
now.
is 10, yeah.
Yep.
The bomb is 11. Anyway,
Okay.
We'll get to
so
that.
what do you guys think about this card?
I mean, basically, when you're looking at home rows as an endgame finish option, I think more than 4 clock kickers is overkill. I think of the clock kicking options, if you're running a heavy green focused deck, this is definitely the best option, right? Your other ones being the promo Homura, which is also very good, and the funny Devil Homura, which we'll get to.
Yeah,
Um,
I like this
I
card
have
the most
I
out of
have
like
so
all the
much
clock
disdain
shooters.
for that Devil Homura.
I,
I'll vent when we get to it.
I think if you're running a green deck, this should be your go-to clock kicker. Otherwise, promo Homura is a better splash.
Yeah, like I
I
can see a
think
lot of I can see a lot of decks running this mainly, and then running like one or two PR home runs because the problem of like having to rest for power sometimes is annoying, especially in combination with this. But like also the ability to on play draw two to ditch one lets you get like the consistency off of getting the climax combo is like so high when you play like a couple of these every turn.
agreed. I also think this will be your go-to level 2 play in a dedicated green build, depending on what else you want to splash.
I
Because yeah, it's a cantrip. That's basically my entire point.
It's like
Advanced summon
pretty
cantrips are great.
good. I think it's pretty good as a change target or early play, but I actually like the new Gothica better
Psycho,
as an early play.
the Madoka.
Yeah, if we're playing like mono green or like heavily green decks, because it does cantrip itself also, and it gets really really big.
How
So
does
like,
early play the old draw phase change?
Yes, it uses the old draw face change to
yeah,
change into it because it
Not
has
sure I
ultimate
count that as
Monica.
an early play because chances are you'll be at like 2-5 at that point.
I mean, it's the same way you can be changing with this Homura, but you also have the event option for this
yeah,
Homura.
Yeah, I think the event summon with this is a pretty solid option.
yeah. The event kind of makes this one a little bit better, but I don't know. I would argue the Ultimate Madoka is still better in this set. This Ultimate Madoka
Mm,
for early play.
fair enough.
It's fair.
But basically, I think this is the finisher of choice for the Madoka decks.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think it justifies running Bar, which is very well placed in the current meta.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially not having to pay out gold bars that you triggered. It's a huge deal.
Yep. Oh man. They gave me a free booster with my mail. I'm happy.
Wonderful. So next up we have the four. Oh, that's fun. Very painful
It's
Madoka.
very painful Madoka.
Damn.
She doesn't look like she's in pain. This is the other advanced summon for green. It's got the if you've got 6 or more climax cards clause, which is fairly easy to do. I'll get to why that's a bad thing in a sec. And then you get a clock summon of sorts, which is nice. It's a +1.
The fact that this comes in early, but pulls in equal to your level, kills this for me.
You reckon? I think that there are plenty of level 2 targets.
I mean, the
that are
number
good,
one
like-
option that I'd be looking at when I'm playing this card early would then be to get like change targets from my clock onto the field. Right.
Oh, I just like getting
two-
supports with this.
Like the 2/2 Homer Shift Global card that we'll get to, or the 2/1 Ultimate Madoka Changer. Like those are the cards I'm looking at
Yeah,
to
pretty
get
much
out with
getting
this
support.
effect. And that's it. I mean, luckily you can play this still at level 3, and it can get that Homer out of your clock, and you can still combo that turn. Like that's a huge deal to me. But
That's reasonable.
I think you don't need to run this card.
I'm in agreement. I think this is quote unquote the junk green double R. And if you open this, you should be very sad.
Yeah, I agree. Pretty much the same thing. Only thing that makes this card kind of relevant is that it early plays when you can pull out the 2/2 changer to the new Homura.
Oh,
Or basically,
+1.
yeah, basically you're like getting that card for free on the field, so that's like 2 stock you didn't pay for, or like yeah to play it. Besides that, this card's like pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
pretty much.
Next up, I guess.
What's next? We have a Lonely Battle Homura. This is the bonder for the
The
what is that
1/0.
one? The
It's the
1/0.
1/0 come and play game
5K,
500
yeah.
for all magic.
The 1/0, yeah.
It's not great, but
That 1/0 card has seen a lot of success in my Kirito theme deck. I just thought I'd inform you guys of that.
Yeah. Yeah, my friend actually plays it in his Sao deck. 'Cause it's not bad. Because at worst case scenario, it's a 1/0 vanilla, but it usually isn't.
I play with
It's
the same.
never a 1/0 vanilla, it's a
Yeah.
1075.
I play with the same effect of my Terraformers deck, except it's at level 0, which can actually produce very amusing results where I get 0/0s to 9k, but that's super rare and uncommon.
I've always felt that Bushiroad completely overrates the whenever this attacks, other characters get 500 power.
Yes.
Like, whenever I see that effect, I almost completely discount it. It almost never comes up as relevant for me.
I don't think 500 power is only relevant if you know there's a very specific counterpoint you need to get over.
That's not very common in this particular game because people always have many different decks, most of which are
Yeah.
quite viable.
It's just there's not one specific breakpoint that like makes or breaks a given deck anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like
you're not like preparing for a known field. Like you have to prepare for a lot of different things, and in the end, +500 is not the sort of thing I'm after.
Yeah, the card's like good because it bonds to that 1/0, and like bonding to 1/0s is always amazing. And having the secondary effect of +500 is like 99% of the time irrelevant, but I guess it's better than having just bond by itself, which like
That's
some
true.
cards do have.
yeah.
Well, no, because if it was just Bond by itself, it would almost certainly be an uncommon.
This
That's
is
fair. But if it was an uncommon, you are less likely to pull it from your packs because Weiss hates you.
Talking to you, money counter. Yeah, I think you have a point there. So we can move on and say that it's a bond to a okay card.
Yeah. I don't think the 1/0 is necessary either, but we'll get to that.
You might want to play that in your mono OTP deck or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've got a better bond combo in green alone.
No, not that I can think of.
Fair enough. Okay, so next card is Real Memories Homura. It
This is a
wants to
good card.
it wants to be Ricky. It really wants to be Ricky, but it's not Ricky.
I mean, it's not Riki, but it's like, hey, yo, we're trying to set up for our level 1 stock gen combo. I don't know why, but let's say we're setting up for level 1 stock gen combo, and you had to clock that stock soul turn 1 because you had nothing else to play. Here's that way of getting it back to your hand.
All right.
Mm,
This card is like so awkward though.
You
I
can't
like
use it
really
at 0-6, which is like the most tragic thing.
anytime you're at
that's
06, you're
yeah.
screwed, or
That is the
X6 or whatever.
X6.
one of the
Yeah.
biggest situations in which Ricky and Akane and the girlfriend one bail you out.
Yeah, it levels you up early.
And this does not do that. Like you can't, because level up takes priority over any auto effect, meaning that the game rules screw you over.
Mm-hmm.
For anyone listening, that is how it should be ruled. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do not resolve this effect and then level up.
So like the only reason I like this card is it's basically a plus, but what's so great about the plus is that it can be anything, even though you have like a really crappy choice because you can only pick between 6 cards. So, but
Oh.
at least you can pick Saika's like Wish or like I forgot the 2/1 green event from the first set, the one that like lets you top check 3 on your opponents and then move a climax to the bottom basically.
Mm.
That's like another
Well,
good target.
I would like to point out the law of Madoka is every time all your level 0 damage, there's going to be apples in there. Like,
Yeah.
there's always
Yeah.
apples in there. Always. So you're going to have decent choices.
This is true.
I mean,
Not seriously. Like, that's not actually going to happen, but that is what I remember about playing Madoka.
it gives you outs. I mean, it gives you a way of like salvaging potentially like very dire situations by being able to swap. The limiting factor is always that you can't use it at X6.
You probably
But
won't
you
play
can
this.
use it, but
Okay,
shouldn't.
okay. No sane human being, unless he is completely out of cards to play in his hand, will drop this card at X6.
Or they're trying to cheat and get both benefits and level up.
Well, in
Yeah,
that
okay.
case, if they've successfully cheated, they deserve a medal.
No, they don't. They deserve a ban.
Deserve a ban. I don't know, man. To get people to miss something that's so well known at this point, I feel.
Oh no, you'd
No,
be surprised.
I'd be surprised.
Wait,
Yeah.
Dang.
have you not played in an English tournament yet? Oh my god. The
There's a
first 2
reason.
rounds, I feel like I was playing for my opponent.
Like there's a reason I've not covered any English content on the blog, because I just don't want to, at all.
Yeah.
All right, next card.
Brave New World Madoka, right?
Yes, New World Madoka.
Yeah, there's only one reason why you're running this card.
We'll get to that reason. I think this is actually a decent throwdown. Like, I love the ones which are like if your opponent has 3 or less characters, or if you have 3 or less stock. This is pretty decent. Like, you get it turn 1, you're happy.
Yeah,
Yeah, 4K beater early on is like pretty good. No real downside after that. And
Yeah, 4K is especially good because everyone and their mother has 3.5
yeah.
gigs now.
4K does
Yeah.
put you over. I'm
And
still
this
going.
continues to be 4K.
I'm still going back to. There's only one reason why you're running this card.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. We'll get to that reason very shortly. So the next card is the Bond target, I believe.
Yes, this is the bond target.
Somebody's wished for Madoka. Yeah, we discussed this. It's usually a 1075, sometimes a little smaller, but if it's smaller, you'll usually be able to get over something. Because that's just how the game plays out.
Yeah, I mean, it's playable. I don't know if it's necessarily important to have, but it's playable.
I like the English flavor text.
Let's see.
uh,
It just says ha.
Incredible.
that is the flavor text. It just says ha.
I mean,
But the
I don't think
context is very different.
there's much to say about this card though.
yeah, it's like a decent card, and it's like
It's
relatively like better because it has a bonded to it, and it's a 1/0 costless.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
it's bondable. That's all.
Yep.
Next
Okay,
up,
so next card, Madoka thinking of Homura. This is the shenanigans card.
I think this is probably the single most Okay, no, this is the second most overhyped card in the set.
You reckon?
At least within the circle of people I play with.
I think that anybody hyping Devil Homura is wrong, so
Well,
that's
okay,
fine.
Devil Homer is internet, and then this is like the people I play
Whoa,
with.
wait a minute. I'm hyped for Devil Homer only because of the flavor the ability has. It
Yo,
like
I mean,
kidnaps Madoka. All right.
but then there are a lot of people who are convinced that it's actually a good card, and it's like, no, please stop.
there is one instance where Devil Homura is good. I'll talk about that in a sec, but for now, this card's a 1/0 climax combo with the stock charge, I believe.
Yes, with stop.
Yeah.
It gains 3/5, so it's an 8/5 beater, and then you get blind stock once you kill your opponent.
Okay, Kit, are
Yeah.
there any notable global 500s that are running Madoka?
Oh, Cube, the one
There's
that
one
eats
in
your
this-
climax.
Yeah. it mark when it comes down, it markers a card, and that card's always a climax. Never
Yeah.
play it. And then there's another global in this set, which we'll get to in a bit. It's also green, but I think the cube is better.
Okay, my problem for this card, and this is coming from a dude who runs mostly wall decks, is that this is like the harshest minus you'll ever run into if you run against any deck that has even 8k wall encounters. Like, then you
Well,
just start
yeah.
crying tears. Because not only do you lose your cards, you don't replace them in your hand, you lose the climax, which just gave you stock. Because it's like, you have an empty field, and what do you have to show for it? Stock.
Well, no, see, you're gonna lose those cards anyway because 5Ks aren't.
Oh
gonna
yeah, no, I mean, on
survive.
their turn you're going to lose it anyways, but then in that case you just drop 4 cards for 7 stock. Is that...
Yeah, that is exactly what this card says. You trade 4 cards in your hand for a bunch of damage, a soul rush, and 7 stock. It is what you do with that 7 stock that changes your valuation of this card.
Yeah, I think this card's. I want to say amazing, but at the same time, I don't want to say amazing. But there's like some really silly plays you can do with it. I like for instance, if you're planning to like really abuse the crap out of it, you have the 106k Homer from the first set that has a bonder, and that bonder you can pay 2 and pick a character from your clock and add it to your hand,
Oh,
which
see,
is like
there is a good bond combo in Madoka already.
yeah, that's like one way you can abuse this. Like before, a lot of people didn't play that because you usually needed the stock for other stuff, and also the 106k Homer wasn't that great to play when you had apples. But this is a card that can like kind of abuse that bonder.
So basically,
And
what you're telling me is you're charging a bunch of stock in order to use that stock to get more pluses to keep up. And what I'm taking from it is what you get overall is maybe 1 or 2 extra stock and the stock, the soul rush.
yes, and I like this card too because you don't necessarily have to drop 3 of them in one turn. You can always just have it as your last attacker,
Oh,
so
no,
you
but
can
that's
pay
the
out that one
dream.
stock.
Like you always got to do the
Yeah,
dream with 1
that is the dream.
The dream is 7 stock in turn, but like the tragedy is if they have anything that's like remotely wall size, then you cry.
Oh, and don't forget, you're going to charge climaxes with the blind stock.
Oh, never forget. I mean, like this is the kind of card that would even have problems with like the Love Life wall,
Oh, that is true.
Yeah,
and that's
but
not like an uncommon thing that you're gonna run into. The Love Life wall will just make this card crumble.
It's
Yeah.
okay. The Love Live wall is
It is and that's my
because we have
point.
bombs now.
But I mean, that's my point. Like it's and this card still can't deal with that.
Oh, that is a good point.
another thing though too is if you decide to run this card with like apples, since apples usually takes up your back row slot, this doesn't really need to get power all the time, so you don't really care about your back row assist that much if you're running this 1/0
Yeah, that's pretty
Madoka.
good.
Yeah, but I
like,
wouldn't. If you're running apples, I wouldn't splash green. At that point, you might as well just splash red at your level 1 and get the bombs.
Yeah, which is what I want to do. But
That's a really good point, actually. Yeah, 3-color level 1 only works if you're a bowler,
If
or if
you're
you're
a
playing,
baller.
or if you're playing LB. Anyway,
yeah, I don't know. I like this card a lot. I'm probably going to try to figure out a way to abuse it better. But yeah, I think
I
right
don't
now,
think it's bad. Like, it's definitely something you
Yeah.
can work with. I just don't think it's the optimal card to run in a optimal
I feel
Madoka
like
build.
I feel like the fact that in the ideal case that you're dropping probably 4 of the 6 cards in your hand to even get this off.
Oh no, you're gonna have like 8 cards,
I
probably more.
Not in my experience, but I could be very wrong about this.
You gotta play those bonds as soon as you hit level 1, man.
I mean, you have to run. I mean, this is a set that runs a ton of bonds. Like that's what it does. But I mean, you still run into like the issue. It's like Okay, first you have to get these cards to hand, then you need the stock soul, and then you still need to drop all of them. And in the end, you have 2 to 4 cards in hand, 4 being the best case, 2 being like probably average case. And
Any
maybe
rebuttals, Kit? Like I mostly agree with him. I'm not high on this card, but I can see it being good.
Yeah, like I think this card is good, but I'm not really going to argue with like anything he's saying right now because it's like it's all for the most part true. I think this card might have been overhyped, but I still think it has a lot of potential to like basically warp Madoka's deck, like the meta deck of Madoka. If there's like
Yeah.
it turns out to be a way to like actually abuse this a lot
yeah,
better.
that's the way I'm looking at it right now. I just don't see a way of abusing this much stock immediately, especially like
3-5 yellow events.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I just don't see a legitimate way to like completely abuse this effect immediately, unless you like know for a fact you're at like 7 climaxes and there's like 8 cards in your deck. It's like okay, let's go.
Yeah, like you can definitely use that much stock, but as for both using that much stock and keeping enough cards in hand to
Make it
keep
worthwhile. Yeah.
yeah, like that might be a little harder.
Yeah.
Anyway, we spent a fair amount of time on that card. The longer we spend on a card, it usually seems the better that card could be. I think
Yeah.
that's a pretty good indication for anyone listening.
I mean,
So the
it's a
next
card where
is-
there's like obvious debate as to its actual
Oh, yeah.
effectiveness,
Yeah, don't
Like,
worry.
the-
In a month, we'll all be like, "Wow, I can't believe we all thought this card was kind of good."
except for me.
Oh no, I'm totally I've made my stances and I will own up to whatever I'm wrong on. You'll see that in 2 cards time.
Wonderful.
Madoka,
Okay.
Unchanged Smile. It's a 2/1 rare. It's a climax combo with a 2k1 soul, I want to say.
Sure.
It might be bag. It might be bag actually. I remember.
Oh wait, yeah, I think this one
They,
is
they
bag.
printed bag.
Oh please be the gold bag.
Yes, it is gold bag.
Oh,
Calm
praise.
days. Calm days. The first gold bag in what seems like an eternity.
It's like 4 sets now.
I think the last one was Love Live 2, but it was a PR card, if that counts.
I love
Was that-
gold bag just as a concept, not as an actual climax. I would never actually run to one gold bag except in my Terraformers Roach deck.
I've run gold bag to success in some decks, but usually because there wasn't a better climax to
Yeah.
run.
As far as this combo is concerned,
Yeah.
eh,
You have to rest the magic character.
Super mediocre.
it's just personally one resting a magic character sucks.
There's also the fact that you'll probably have a very thin library, and if you just used Homura to refresh, then you have a climax in your hand that's not in your deck. I don't like that.
I agree. I'm not the biggest fan of this card. I mean, also this effect I think is done better by a certain blue overlevel.
Yeah, I think so too. Additionally, you have to discard a magic character, not any card.
Yeah, it
That's-
does mean that fundamentally the card goes even if you play 1. Or minuses actually.
Yes. No. You go even.
No, you
because
go even,
discard
Yeah,
one,
you still have a
and
card on field, so it goes
Yeah,
even
yeah.
if you have 1. And it
you
only
have to
starts
play the climax.
yeah, it only starts plussing when you have more than 1 on field. And then you
Yeah.
run out of things to rest.
I think as Kit mentioned, level 2s are just kind of unless they're incredible. There aren't very many examples of incredible level 2s right now.
Yeah.
Alright, let's
And most of the ones that are incredible are pulled out at level 1. So
Yeah, the biggest problem with like level 2 is like the power difference between 2 and 3
it's
is like
enormous.
yeah, and like the abilities you get at level 3 are completely like game changing compared to level 2. So
pretty much, like playing level 2s on curve is like that's being fair. We don't want to be fair. We want to be as broken as possible.
yeah,
Hello, Akatsuki.
Okay, we finally reached it. We've reached the end of all of the timelines. She's a devil now.
I dislike this card immensely.
I'll let you guys talk about it before I go on my little rant.
Okay, so in the best case scenario, and I said this is best case, you get this out at level 2 and you marker it. That meant you spent 2 turns at level 2, because the first turn, you need to draw phase change into Ultimate Madoka, one of them, doesn't matter which. And the next turn you need to play this, so that you can chump the Ultimate Madoka. Okay, what do you get for your efforts? You get a 0/0 on field. You get this on field, and then you get wind triggered because I don't know they have wind triggers in their deck and you cry.
That is certainly the worst case scenario coming out the best case scenario. Yeah,
Well,
18.5 is big.
yeah.
I mean, the fact that you can clock kick on both turns is great. I love that.
I think we have someone here very experienced with a clock kick on both turns.
What? Who needs that shit? But for real,
You
that's
played
like the only saving grace of this deck, or this not deck, this card, is that it can clock kick on both turns.
It's just
Like,
such an
yeah.
expensive clock kick, and it takes so many cards just to get this card onto the field early, anyways.
yeah, like
Um,
the power up for
no,
the most part is kind of irrelevant. Most of the time, it's
yeah,
just
you
the
usually
second the
find stuff to
clock.
clock kick.
Yeah, clock kick is like that. The fact that you can do it on both turns makes it really awkward for your opponent. Sometimes, like the way they have to attack or anything is pretty annoying. The only downside is it does cost a hand and like two stock. But I think this is one of the few cards that the 1/0 Madoka we talked about earlier can like help abuse this ability a little bit more. But
See, my
even
take on
then,
this
it's like,
card is that I agree with you guys in that it's really but the biggest synergy this card has, in my opinion, isn't actually with Ultimate Madoka, it's with the early play Sayaka.
Okay, that is fair. That Sayaka is very, very good, but then you're still looking at having three specific cards in your hand to make this
Oh no,
happen.
I don't mean at level 2, I mean at level 3. Like, even then,
At level 3,
you'll be stopping them from fronting a card.
will you have enough stock and cards in hand at level 3 to make that necessarily go off?
It's Madoka, you always have enough stock and cards in hand.
Okay, I won't. Everyone else will.
yeah, that's like the only other thing that's like really like makes this
That's,
card like also playable or like not playable,
um,
but good is that Psycha does exist and it does plus you a lot, but it's still like kind of
no,
awkward.
rather than plussing, I'm just talking about the 4K. It'll be
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
4K. I mean, even then though, I would still just run promo Homer at that point.
I would run the double R. Just hit them.
I mean,
I don't care about
at that
anything
point, I
else.
feel like you're running two climax combos at level 3, and that's like, eh.
I would just run the cycle without the pants,
You
honestly.
wouldn't run the pants. I really like that effect.
I'm really iffy on it. Like it's amazing when it's amazing, but when it's not amazing, it's really mediocre.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I've been like thinking about my list a lot recently, and I like I really like Sayaka as a character, even though everyone fucking hates her. But
It's okay.
I like I like Sayaka. All right, so like
We
I
don't
was like
judge you.
trying
We
to
don't
I'm gonna
judge.
try to I was trying to think of ways that like makes that early play Sayaka like worth playing because like right now it's because of all the new cards and all the new stuff I want to try out. It's like really hard to fit cards in right now. So I'm not exactly sure where I stand on that like early play Sayaka, but like not playing the climax combo with it is like completely reasonable, and it does kind of make this card better.
If you don't play
It
the combo
does.
with it, it's basically like, I guess,
Well,
about
Ilya
as
does that.
yeah, it's about as good as the blue one from Girlfriends as well.
The blue one from Girlfriend is annoying. So annoying.
Yeah, except that's like free to play.
I think last week I had three of them dropped on me in one turn. I was pretty upset.
Jesus Christ, who
I was
does
like, well,
that?
no, I'm not gonna kill anything on this field. Time to run everything in. I plan to win this game.
Yeah,
Well, he just has no cards in hand after that. Don't you need 4 blue cards?
Yeah, except the problem is he plays the person I played against plays that 1/0 climax combo where you clog yourself and like draw two cards. He had
So
so
he had
yeah.
hand for days. Yeah, that's fair enough.
But yeah.
this is Devil Homura. It does get the 0/0 out, so it's not like you actually lose an attacker playing this.
You lose a 2 soul beta.
Yeah, you do lose that, and you have the 0
I
on the field, which is
I
basically
think
like
it's kind
chunked.
of okay. It's just definitely not the sort of card I'd build around unless I was making the themed deck.
Yeah, and on a side note too, you actually don't lose a card at all. You do lose the two soul beater, but if you play the new Ultimate Monica, you get a draw a card when you play that Ultimate Monica. So, like,
I mean,
You
you do
in the
lose
lose
on
end,
you
the
lose a lot of value. That's the
yeah.
key. And
What? You
value's the
get
name of the game.
8,500 power. Such
Oh,
value.
such
oh,
value.
um,
Such value.
damn it! I hate it. I hate how people see big numbers and immediately overreact.
You know what? You know
This,
what? It's like if you want to talk about big numbers, like I can get big numbers just playing the Terraformers deck and running Asimov in.
I never thought I would say community needs to be more like Yu-Gi-Oh! Just stop looking at the numbers and start looking at the effects more.
Yeah.
It's depressing that I have to say that. Anyway, I was actually a lot nicer to this card than I thought I would be, but can we move on?
Yes. Okay. New Bonder.
Oh wait, really quick before we like leave onto this card, like where do you guys rate this Devil Homer on a scale of 1 to 10? Like what do you think like how good the
What's
card
a
is?
10? Is a
I don't
10
know what's
is a 10 Marika?
yeah 10 is Marika.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna make one Michelle just as a point of reference.
All right, I'm okay with this scale.
No. Yeah, I was gonna say six, but the thing is, I have this, I believe in Weiss, card value is so goddamn high. Everything is a grizzly bear, everything is a attacker. So it's really hard to rate something on a scale of 1 to 10. Because, like, Michelle in my books is like a 4 or a 5, because it's a 2-soul attacker. That also has some other little neat things.
If by neat things you mean largely irrelevant things, then yes.
It has 2 soul symbols next to its power. That is what is relevant about it for me. It's so hard for me to rate cards badly unless they outright lose you the game because you put them in your deck.
Okay,
And this,
so are we gonna just like say a 0 is like the Kirito in my Gigant Shooter deck?
that card wins so many games, man.
It also doesn't work in like 3 very
Against
important matchups.
that's like LB and KC and nothing else.
The Capo to an extent.
DC, I guess you got DC at your locals. No, I think it's very hard to rate it 1 to 10. But if that was the scale, like Michelle being a 1 and unbanned Marika being a 3, unbanned is an
A
unbanned
10.
Nisekoi.
A 3? Dang, I don't want to see what a 10 is.
Oh, a 10 is it's good art. A 10 is good art.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so I misspoke. If the 10 is Marika in unbanned Nisekoi, then I would put it around a 6 or a 7.
Yeah, I
It's
agree the
very
same too.
it's very playable. Just
It's just for me when I'm looking at my level 3 options, a 6 isn't gonna cut it. Like
mm,
not anymore.
Yeah, the way the game has shifted so much to like actually being all about level 3 game is like pretty annoying to me,
It's like
honestly.
yeah.
if you could pick this 6, but you could have picked like an 8 in the
Yeah,
double
see,
R Homura.
the thing is, we're competitive players. Why would we settle for anything less than the best available option? By
Yeah.
that token, we only have 10s and 1s to pick from.
This
Yeah.
is
Not
future?
really, but you get my
Yeah,
point.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. It's like it's either it's worth running or it's not. And in this case, I wouldn't try to run this card. I wouldn't ever try to fit this into a deck that I'm playing.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
that's yeah.
Yeah,
Next
let's move
card then.
on.
Madoka, worrying. Clock bond for the double R Homura.
Which is good.
Very good.
And it
And it's a
shifts.
shift as well. I don't think the shift is super amazingly relevant because every time I clock bond a level 3, mostly speaking from experience with LB twins, it's usually at level 0 or 1 when I want to level up or
Yeah.
when I need that plus.
I had one really silly play where I was borrowing a friend's twins deck where I used that clock bond on an intentional whiff to hit myself to level 3 so I could kill them with clock kickers.
Yeah, that sounds like something I would do.
I think clock bonds are great. I think clock bonds at level 3s are a little bit iffy, but I mean, even the worst case, it says you gotta turn this card into something else later.
You get a card to clock.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like I said, every card in Weiss has inherently high value, so pluses are always good.
Yeah, I actually like this Wander a lot, only because it actually has shift.
Shift
Because
is yeah.
I see this card at most like 1, maybe if you're crazy 2 of in your deck if you're gonna like
No,
play it for
no,
some
it's
reason.
a 1. It's
Yeah.
a
But
Yeah.
because it's a 1 of and it has shift, it makes it a little bit more consistent,
yeah,
you know?
and
So
consistency is just nice.
yeah, it just randomly becomes a little bit more relevant, and also it's bonds to like your level 3 game that I think most decks are gonna run anyway. So
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. So no complaints, good card because it works with good cards and it's just got pluses, plus sides.
Hmm.
yeah.
There's nothing bad about it really.
I guess the bad side is it has 500 power and you put it in your deck.
Oh, well, you're gonna lose to those Lucia rewrite decks.
Oh man.
Hey, you know what? That
Or
500
Kaiki
power is
from-
still bigger than the Gigant
Kaiki.
Shooter Tsukasa
Yeah,
if
man,
you're
Kaiki
worried
can kill this.
if you're worried about Monogatari beating your deck, you have bigger problems than this card.
Oh man.
Next up is a 0/0 global 500 pay
Puella,
one.
Puella Magi Holy Quintet Homura. This is the global support I alluded to. Um, it's got a secondary ability I don't ever see myself using unless I have.
This is like the dumbest effect when you consider it in the
Uh,
context of the 1/0, in the sense that you're paying stock to get stock. Like,
uh,
Not really. I don't know. Okay. Startup abilities on supports that are already good and like that add extra power, I really like
it's a
because you
plus,
can.
but it's not a very
Yeah.
big plus in my opinion.
It depends what you're playing against, really. Sometimes there's just like you need to get rid of this thing now, otherwise the game's gonna snowball into your opponent's favor. So then that makes this card really good. Most matchups, it's gonna be garbage. Let's be real about that. Like the second
That's
ability is
fair.
gonna be whatever, right? Another thing too is this card can be really, really good with the 1/0 climax combo Madoka. Only because you build so much stock from it, you can
you can
waste
afford
stock on
to,
buffing
to
it.
spend stock
Yeah.
buffing things, but like, is that really what you want to be doing with your
Like,
stock?
I do agree with you, but there was one thing you said which struck home with me. It's gonna be that ability is gonna be garbage in a vast majority of matchups, which turns this into effectively a global support, which competes with the QB from first set, which has a very relevant second effect.
Yes, but I think it really depends on what you're still running in your deck. I don't think a lot of decks are gonna run like change, draw step change anymore. Like any of the changes. I,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't,
fair.
I don't find a lot of them like. I think a lot of them are playable, but I don't think a lot of them are gonna be ran or anything.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
think.
see any draw step change that stands out too
Yeah, like
much.
if there wasn't a good level 3 finisher, the Kyoko change might have stayed, but there is, so I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
think there really is a good one. Except in mono yellow. Except in mono yellow.
Oh, this is true. Oh wait, and the new Chihaya, the new Tutu Chihaya.
Oh God.
Uh,
There are some things that set that apart from Chihaya, but I think that's still a good card. We'll cover it when we come to
Yeah.
it. How we doing on time, by the way?
we're at
Homura.
122, so we should try to get through this.
Hustle. Yeah, we're
We
barely
still,
half. Oh my God, there's a lot of green.
yeah, this goes to 60.
Yeah. This
Or
card is There's lots to explore regarding this card, but it's a global support, which is nice, and like Kit said, it's not really a bad second ability. It's just
eh,
the fact it has a
Matchup
second ability
dependent.
is better than not having a
Yeah.
a second
could
ability.
be
Oh,
it could be
my
Raku.
English.
It could be
It
Raku.
could be
What
Raku,
pendants are we
yes.
gonna get?
Pull out Psycho's Wish.
Oh
Fair and
god.
balanced.
Oh Jesus.
Dude, this card can give global minus 500 power and I'd still run it.
I agree. Psycho's Wish, man.
I mean, the
Don't
fact that you can just
underestimate
play
that
over
card.
cards means that like a global minus 500 isn't even a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, next
moving on.
card.
This card is not
Homura,
relevant.
straight up worse than the New World Madoka.
Yep.
Yeah,
Next.
it's like playable-ish, I guess, if you
No,
play
No.
Mono King.
not when
What
New World
man?
No.
Madoka exists.
Whoa, you could play 2K1s with this.
Hey.
Now it's 6K.
Okay,
So?
okay, that's fair. You could do that with New World Madoka too.
So,
Damn it. All right, new next card.
All right, next card, Clock
Um,
Encore. This is the mirror of the green Kosaki from Nisekoi. Tap a character gets 1k, so it's a 6/5 attacker. That is Clock Encore and is pathetically weak on your opponent's
except
turn.
the green Kosaki is better because it's on attack gain 2k if you have a
Oh
pendant
God,
memory.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just
No,
right.
it's on attack gain 2k if you have a pendant
And
memory.
but it needs a pendant, right? Yeah,
Yes.
okay, sure. So it's not a mirror of that card, but
Okay,
yeah,
this
it's a
card is pretty good, but
Except you're
it's in
tapping
the
back
wrong,
rows
yeah,
for Encore.
except it's in the wrong set. Like you're only like
For
pickable
Brainstorm.
brainstormer at this point is like the 0/0 homer from the first set, right?
Yeah.
So
Unless you're
pretty
running
much.
your
spammable
back row's
ones.
gonna your back row's gonna get tapped. So
Yeah.
it makes
Next.
it a lot harder to play.
yeah, and there's better. Like if you're running a Clock Encore base, you can just run yellow. Like
Yeah.
that's effectively
Yeah,
as
the
good.
106k clock of course is a better card.
All right. So this is a 1/1 assist times assist. I don't see that being good because, as stated before, there aren't really any good assists in this set anymore. Now that we're moving away from draw phase change, and the other ability is fine. Like if this
Yeah.
is the last card in your field, it's a 1/0, which is fine. But I don't know. I prefer having known quantities to unknown quantities. and assist
Yeah.
times assist is, in my opinion, not very relevant. Like, I play LB. I played the best assist by assist in the game, and I hate it. Like, I hate that it's assist by assist. Why isn't
Hey,
it just
the Disgaea one
one
gives
kill
it a
by
good
time?
run for its money.
Sorry, this one?
The Disgaea one,
Oh, Disgaea.
yeah,
What's the
Disgaea.
Disgaea one?
It's a
The
Katsuki.
Katsuki effect.
Yeah,
Oh, the top four check one. Is
yeah.
that word?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Yeah, that
fair,
one's
I
good.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this
Katsuki
card.
one gives it a run. The secondary effect on this card just isn't worth running, especially because you don't have that many assists that you're running at level 1 because you have a brainstorm in the back row. It's like,
I like how we're talking about the assist effect as the secondary effect, as if it was just a 1025 body.
What? That's
no,
not what
no,
it is.
the secondary effect is it gets stock, and it's like it's doesn't matter.
It doesn't get stock. It replaces the stock that you knew was
Clean
something
or not clean. I mean,
with something you don't know.
but if it wasn't clean, you could have just brainstormed. So
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem.
Yep. All right.
Anyway, I think we've made our thoughts on that card now. Next card, Real Power Madoka. This is okay. Now I know this one is a mirror of the Sugumi from Nisekoi because I have that deck. Um,
why?
where I had spare Sugumi cards. I have it maxed as well. It's kind of funny.
Um,
When this attacks, you reveal the top card of your library. If it's a magic character, aka any character that isn't like that one side character in Psyker's side story, it gets 2k. So it's an 8k attacker for 1/1, and it has character encore.
eh,
It's serviceable. That's how I found it to be.
I wouldn't put this into a deck personally, but like if you wanted to, you could.
Yeah.
Mono.
William sums it up nicely. All right.
Yeah.
Next.
Next card.
Oh, we got
this
to the
is
2/2 changer.
Yes. I like the 2/2 advance summon event better, but that's just me.
I agree.
Because
I
like,
also agree.
why would you run this if you're not running the 3/2 bad clock summon Madoka? And at that point, you're running the 3/2 bad clock summon Madoka, so something went wrong clearly.
Yeah, and you also have like the funny issue where if you it does avoid like the funny issue of the double row where you have to rest the card, but like at that point in the game, it's probably not a huge deal.
Oh, at that point in the game, you hopefully have enough hand cards from like the 2k1 so and stuff to be
Yeah.
able to play over things and in the worst case scenario.
I don't really see this as a mandatory card, so
Mandatory is not the word I use to describe this now.
Yeah.
even optional.
Yeah,
Like-
that's still stretching it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I wish this
Um,
card was like a little better. I can't even think in a world where you want actually 1500 power on one of your 1/0s anyway, because
Yeah.
that's
yeah,
like the only
I don't.
reason.
I don't think the card is bad. It's just eating up
Yeah.
slots that can go to better things.
Yeah.
Yep.
The shift is nice, but like it's not even that relevant
Level
either.
level 2 shift is
Iffy.
ugh.
It's very
The
iffy.
time you get to randomly get value from it is tiny. I don't know. The only experience I've had is the level support and rewrite, which
Yeah.
is not the best.
Yeah.
Next Madoka, keeping up with the
Madoka.
theme of
Heal in the Morning Sun. Cannot side and tap 2 characters when this comes to clock the stage. Hand or clock the stage. Ooh, synergy. Then you get to choose a character, and that character gets more stock when it kills something.
I don't like this card. I really don't. I mean,
Hey man, you can pull it out with the 3/2 Madoka, and then that Madoka is effectively only 1 cost, and it got you two soul swings. The more I talk about it, the better it sounds. I should stop.
yeah, and then you remember that you need to rest 2 cards, and it only happens on that first turn. I mean, if it was like a startup effect that you could tap anytime, I'd be more inclined to say, okay, but it's
It's
not.
still a 2/2 vanilla. It's not the worst thing in the world.
I
I don't
mean-
know if like it being a startup effect even makes it like relatively better because it doesn't have any synergy with that early play Monica anymore.
Is it a startup effect? It's not a
It's
startup.
not.
It's not a startup effect. It's an auto.
Yeah.
It's a come and play effect. It's like,
Yeah.
That's pretty bad. I mean, it gets around the anti-startup effects cards.
yeah, but it doesn't get around like Haruka.
It doesn't get around better cards.
Yeah. Okay, moving on.
Anyway, Madoka Ultimate. This is a 11.5k that cantrips.
Yes, that's basically it.
There was a big debate raging as to whether this one or the old Ultimate Madoka was better.
Do you want to heal or do you want to cantrip?
I think cantripping is better if you are eating this Madoka straight up. I think healing is better in any other scenario.
I'm going to agree.
My only argument is it's better as a change, like if as the target for your change if you're
Yeah,
gonna like play the
it's
changer.
a bit bigger, which is
Yeah.
Otherwise, I
nice.
agree completely with you guys.
I
Because I
think the
mean,
main argument against this card is it doesn't come in triple R.
yeah, you're right.
Okay, moving on.
Oh no, like I will talk a little bit about it. Drawing up to one card as opposed to draw two, drop one
Yeah,
sucks.
yeah, no,
Like, I,
that
I hate
absolutely
that comparison.
sucks.
And then it just becomes really big and removes something, but even so, like anything that can't be removed by 12.5k probably like 14.5 will probably not remove it either.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there are some exceptions, but they're few and far between, I feel.
Mostly a cocky Kai is when you could run a full field of them.
No, sometimes a Kagi Kai is just the sort of thing you can't really do too much about.
Well,
Although this does beat that, I guess. One. It beats one
one.
of them. And it does replace itself while doing so. Man, but Akagi Kai does all of that as well. Why don't we just play Kansai?
I wonder. Besides the fact that
Okay.
that card is on a ban list.
Madoka, Ladylike. It's a 0/0 assist. You can sack it to give something 2k for the turn.
Okay, 2K power.
And
I think we've beaten that dead horse, and we can move
yeah,
on past that effect.
this is not magic. You can't do this on your opponent's turn. You can only do it on your turn. So you can either play this as a 1/0, like a 0/0 event to give a character 2k, or you can have it as an assist, and then it becomes a 0/0 event.
It's bad.
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, I talked, but I was just filling space.
Don't justify it. Um, come and play. Pay 2. Search for a magic card. Man, this
Come on, we
effect
can
is
do
ancient.
better at this. We
it's
can do
not.
better at this.
This isn't coming to play. It's when it dies.
Is it when it
Goes
dies?
to waiting room.
Oh
Yeah.
damn.
We can do better than
Yes,
this.
you can do better than
Yeah.
this. Moving on. I'm gonna. It's a costless 3/5.
Flavorful OTP deck. This isn't actually a 3/5. You need a bunch of characters on your.
Yeah, I mean it's not a solo play. It's a if you have two
So
or
the Madoka from the first set is better because that needs 2 or less
Yeah.
other, I think.
Yeah.
So you run that instead, or
Yeah.
you just run, any of the better oversizes we've discussed.
Yeah. Next.
Bad.
Yep.
Yep. Next vanilla.
Yep.
Less
Next.
bad than the bad card.
Oh, we got more vanillas.
7K Homer Vanilla.
Let me
Next.
know what the next non-vanilla card is. I'm following on hard at the cards. But
Let's see. We got 1500 counter, which is basically
it's,
vanilla.
It's the Persona card that I've been waiting for.
Ah. I heard you like cute anime girls shooting themselves in the head. Okay. First not vanilla card, we got our
Oh
Cube.
boy, this card, I'm interested in this card from a design perspective. I don't think it'll make the card in any deck, but building around Shift is interesting in that it's kind of like Unscry Miracles in MTG, which is like really sacky, but at the same time you can really control to an extent how much it activates. And I think a 1k assist is just really strong if it's costless.
I mean, you got the same thing in Nisekoi with its backer, so like obviously the effect isn't bad. I just don't think
Why doesn't anyone run that card in Isekoi?
They do
I mean,
now.
I know why they don't run it, but it was a really good card.
Wait, are we talking about the
The
1-0
Shizuka.
red? The one I run?
Gorilla,
Yeah.
1/0 Gorilla.
Yeah. I run
I
that
ran
card
that from
now.
the beginning. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
I
my
mean,
friends ran it from the beginning too,
you
but I didn't like it that much because I ran
Didn't-
what's Raku, so
yeah, you
I
didn't
didn't
run
really
it
care.
before
It
because
was
you had
good in mirror.
Raku.
Like,
But-
it was good in the mirror because it stopped the 1/0 Maracas from going off, and then at one point I just turned to Time Machine because I really didn't want their 1/0s to go off.
Time of
Yeah, I think at one point Japan just switched over to level yellow level 1 just to prevent stuff like that. But
Oh,
yeah,
our locals was on yellow level 1 at the beginning because 1065s are not fair.
yeah,
107Ks usually.
'Cause
Anyway,
Raku.
enough about that.
Okay.
Vanilla 2/1 count. Like, I think that Q is fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's cute.
It's cute.
Vanilla 2/1 counter. As its cute effect, I don't actually think QB itself is particularly cute. Dude,
Okay.
I grew up with Pokemon. Alright, so Madoka and Homura,
Come and play plus 15. We already talked about.
2/1/7/5 gets 1/5, becomes a 9k. Oh, what the hell?
It's ditch a climax refresh on attack.
No. Ditch a climax from your climax zone.
Comic Zone,
Oh,
yeah.
what?
That is way better than I thought it
That
was.
is super strange. What
So,
climax is it combo with?
2K1 Soul.
I am
I
less
think
amused.
you thought it was. Wait. Yeah, it's
I
2K1
was
It's
hoping
2K1
for
Soul. Plus 2
Well,
Soul. Yeah, we all were.
if it's 2K1 Soul, at least you still get the 2K1 Soul when it's gone. It's not
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
But I
Like you've
mean,
already expended the effect. I think we already have a refresher. Otherwise, this would be an okay card.
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I think the other refresher is
Yeah.
more.
There can be argument to like why you would choose this one over the other one, but I think I would still choose the other
Yeah.
one.
Not sure there are arguments for that. The other one's just better.
Well, I mean, like, say for some reason you like mill six climax right after you refresh, you can use this climax combo right then
It's an
instead of having to mill your
incredibly,
deck.
Yeah, but then that means you had
incredibly
like this.
depressing
You
situation.
have the seventh one in your hand. It's like, oh.
Hey man, I don't know, man. It's happened
Statistically
sometimes.
likely. John Borden approved.
Okay.
Next, we have a
Next,
2/1 8K filler card, practically vanilla.
you can rest a card to.
It's like a bad combination of the Mami and the
Yeah.
Nagisa that we talked about
The
earlier.
number of plus 2k power effects in this set blow my mind.
They're just not trying anymore.
No, they're not. Vanilla?
Next card isn't a Joe trait, so I think. So is it? I don't think that's the same.
Let's see.
Can you play that
It says
standard
daughter.
with? Can you
So
play it standard with
it,
Chitoge?
it would be, yeah, you could.
Neat. Anyway, next card, 2/2.
Change event.
Change. Yeah, the advanced summon event for any Homura.
Solid.
Yeah. The
It's
fact
yeah.
I've got a very firm stance on these. If it summons a cantrip, so the Da Capo one with Himuro, or the Himuro, is that her name? Himeno, or the Persona one with Yu and Izanagi, that's really good because you get some value out of it and you get a big fat card. If it's something like the Terraformers one where you don't necessarily get value out of it, I'm less of a fan.
Yes.
Yeah.
In this case, it's okay. You
Yeah,
don't.
this
A
card is
2K
so awkward to me though.
It's
Like
it's a lot closer in nature to the Terraformers one than the former examples, in the sense that you're mostly getting a two soul beater out early.
And you get a draw two drop one, which can get you
yeah.
close to your refresh
This is
if
true.
that's a
It does.
thing.
It
Like
does
hopefully you
cantrip.
refresh. You hopefully played a refresh before you play this.
Yeah.
this card is like relatively better than most just because we have like so many targets now.
hmm
But I feel like you won't really see it in many decks.
Yeah, I don't. I think that it's playable, but there are better options.
Yeah, especially if you're like putting a lot of events into a deck.
I feel like I'd much rather just play the 3/2s at level 3
Yeah.
proper,
Exactly.
and then just go all out on that turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that puts us through all the green cards. So
think
we're
We
gonna cut the video
cut
here.
the video here, yeah.
All right.
And